right, I think we're ready. Welcome to board meeting for August 27th, and we will do our roll call in attendance. Business Administrator Richard Reese, Board Member Elizabeth Payne, Vice President Elizabeth Belinda Johnson, Board Member Will Merrill, Board Member Jerry Cooper, Superintendent Covington, and then I'm President County Anderson. Now we will start with our Pledge of Allegiance by Belinda.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Belinda. And Doug, do we have any patron statements?
We do not today.
And then moving quickly, report of the board. We'll start with Belinda.
Just thank for all the hours and hours of work that they've done. I think they're good enough.
Like we had this start to the school year, successfully, and grateful for everyone who's in the schools and people who's doing both hybrid and online and all of it. So
Thanks, Jen.
I would like to echo the comments. I think the school year started off as well as can be expected given everything. I want to express my thanks to the district office for all their hard work and efforts in getting ready and having it roll out so successfully, as well as our teachers. And we've asked them to carry a heavy load, and I think they've stepped up and done a really great job with that as well.
Thank you, Jerry. Well,
I was happy to represent Murray District at the Delegate Assembly, and it was quite amazing to listen to the senator, the president of the Senate, and then Brad Wilson is the Speaker of the House, and they both talked about education, and it was very, very positive. So I believe if we could all contact some of our representatives and senators, maybe those two men will really believe and do what they said they would do. But I do think it's critical that we start contacting and letting them know what our real problems are.
okay, thank you, Glo. I don't really have anything to report. I watched the news conference from the governor and the 3 students that spoke. I thought that was really moving for them to ask that they want to be in school. And I feel like based on my limited exposure to students, they want to be in school. They're willing to do what it takes. So we're thankful that we have made that happen and keep our fingers crossed that will continue for as long as possible. Okay, so report of the staff, the COVID policy waivers. I'm not sure if it's Darren.
All right, we thought we'd make official our policy waivers that we have, just if the board would entertain these since COVID for the 2020-2021 school year. The first one is policy 446.2. It's Murray High citizenship credit requirements for graduation. And we asked that the board consider waiving the requirement that attendance be included as a factor in determining a citizenship grade at Murray High School for the 2020-2021 school year. The next one is our attendance policy, PS 401. And we asked the board to waive the requirement for legitimate absences as only those defined in current policy, thus allowing for students to be out of the school building participating in hybrid and online learning. And we also asked to waive the requirement to excuse absences within 5 school days for hybrid and online students. And those absences are being entered in advance by the schools and secretaries. And then for our last one, the employee dress code, we asked for a waiver Further requirement was professional dress by the employees, including an exception for employees to wear scrubs. That would be the only exception. So those are the waivers we ask of the board to entertain.
On the citizenship, will they still get a citizenship grade? It will be based on other factors, not on attendance will not be included.
Attendance won't be included in that one.
And then, attendance, does anyone have any questions?
Well, so if we're expecting them to be in school certain days, then we are tracking down their absences.
Yeah, so we're tracking down, we will be bringing forth to the board, I believe, an online attendance policy. Is that correct? One of our future meetings, that we need to track the engagement. The state's actually requiring that of us.
Well, and I'm just also thinking, like, if you're a parent and you think your kid is there 5 days a week, they're not ever making it there, but you're not, are they still getting?
They're still being marked.
Okay,
Attendance
they're
is
getting
still
like a
being-
call home that says, okay,
Yes.
but you don't know when they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And my only concern, and I think you guys have got this, is the elementary kids. You know, if we are expecting them and they don't arrive,
Yeah.
we want to make sure that somebody knows that they did make it.
Right.
Just making sure.
And this is only for this, yeah, so this is just, yes, that's happening, and our teachers are taking attendance, especially.
And I'm pretty sure they would know who's supposed to be there and who's not. And then if they're not there, they notify the attendance office.
Right.
Any other questions? Can we do this in one, or do we need to do
Yeah,
As long as they're specific.
right,
suspend the rules and then do all three of them?
right.
Okay. So I'll take a motion to suspend the rules,
I moved that we suspend the rules.
okay, and, a second, okay, and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then I'll take a motion to approve policy 44.6.2, 401, and 900.5 for the 2021 school year.
I move that we suspend PS 446.2, PS 401, and PS 900.5 for the school.
Okay, and second,
Second.
and any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Rich, did I do that right?
No, it's beautiful.
Right. And then superintendent.
Thank you. I am here tonight to ask for the board's consideration, and I would ask that if the board feels comfortable, we do suspend the rules and approve this evening if possible. What we're bringing forth is a calendar change for the 2020-2021 school year. The state has declared that they will waive up to 6 days of the 108-day requirement, meaning that a school only needs to be in session for students 174 days. And part of state code that has always been there says that a governing body, an LEA governing body, may reallocate up to 32 instructional hours of 4 school days for teacher preparation time for teacher professional development. And so many of our surrounding school districts have used this because they have delayed their starts. As we have talked to our teachers and we've been in conversation with our Maria Education Association, we have teachers who are being asked to supervise students before school, as well as do additional preparations throughout the school. So we would propose that we can convert the 4 school days that are allowed in section 53F of state code to teacher work days as compensation for this before school supervision. So typically they would be preparing and planning during that time. So we would trade that time. And what we would propose is we take those 4 days and we tack them on at the end of the term in an effort to make it easier for our families who we know it's very difficult when we have multiple days out, multiple weeks. So what that would look like is we would end the term October 21st, that would be the last day of the term. October 22nd would then become a teacher work day. October 23rd is already a teacher workday. So what that means is the teachers would have a Thursday and a Friday workday. In term 2, the last day of the term would move to January 13th. January 14th would become a teacher workday, as well as January 15th is currently approved as a teacher workday. So again, that's a Thursday, Friday. For March, the last day of the term would move to March 24th. March 25th would become a teacher workday, as well as March 26th is already an approved teacher workday. And then the last one would be on June 1st, making that a teacher workday. So that takes care of the 4 that we are allowed to convert from from student learning days to teacher work days. Then, because of all of the things we're asking our teachers to do, we felt that it would be good faith for the district to use those additional 2 days, and that we tack those 2 days on at the end of our school year. Meaning, at the end of our school year, we would be out. Our school year would conclude on May 28th, which is before Memorial Day. We know that's always very popular with our families, and we quite often get asked why we don't do it. We don't do it because we have to go to school 180 days. But this is a unique year, and we know that. And so we would end our school year on May 28th. Teachers would then come on June 1st for their teacher workday. And then the last 2 days, June 2nd and June 3rd, would be those compensation days. And so, again, as we've talked about this, we feel like this is a good way to not put a lot of additional burden on our families. We had talked about doing 2 days at the end of each term, which would be hard, I think, on our families. And we had discussed that having maybe a Thursday, Friday, and a Monday off is hard on families. And we certainly want to consider our families, but we also want to consider our teachers. And so this was something we compromised as we talked to the Murray Education Association. So I'd ask for your consideration, and I would ask that if we could suspend the rules on this, because if we do make this change, for 2 reasons. We want to get this out to our families as soon as possible, and also we would need to change our graduation date. And I have been in contact with Murray High School, and they are aware, Principal Wahami is aware that we may change this, and that he didn't seem to think that would be too much of an issue at this point. So, because we're far enough out. So I will leave that for the board to discuss.
So if we implement this, then the students, what time will they, because right now we have the problem with all of them gathering outside, right?
Right, at the junior highs, yes. And I have sent that information to the junior high principals and said, this would help. We can open the doors earlier. And Robin, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Have you had any conversation with the principals? Okay. So I did email each of them and say we could open the doors 15 minutes before, just exactly what they're doing in the elementary schools, allow the students to trickle in so they're not all congregating on the plaza, still go to their first period class, the teachers would be in there. Because that is an issue. We know that the junior highs, we've got a lot of feedback of, and I know they're working on it. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, and they've got things painted on the cement, but they're not standing on the HJH while they're waiting, and that's human, that's student nature, but so that would help with that as well.
So then the expectation would be that the teacher would be in the classroom 15 minutes earlier than they were.
So teachers are required to be 20 minutes before school starts, 30 minutes after, and so they are in the building. We would just ask them to be in their classroom. Our elementary teachers, and I'm going to miss me, have been doing this for the last 2 weeks. And they were very gracious in doing that. And it is a little bit of a burden on them, because that is sometimes when they're getting things ready. So we recognize that, and we wanted to say, we understand you're doing this, here's what we can do in return. And I think that's gone well. I appreciate those elementary teachers who have said, we will do this, but they have concerns with it, and we understand that.
So this just becomes, it's not a policy and it's not in the master agreement, so what is this? This is a one-time thing.
It's a one-time thing. So every year the board approves the calendar. So Darren comes
This
to
is
you.
part of the calendar.
This is the calendar. These are calendar changes.
Okay.
We do not have to petition the State Board of Education for these days. Though these are days we've been given. I have checked with Assistant Superintendent Angie Stallings twice on that to make sure. And there is nothing that we need to submit or petition for as a district. If
It
we,
just stays under that calendar.
it's just under the calendar.
Like, nothing is done on the NDA agreement.
No, it's not with any MEA agreement, it's a calendar. And again, it's a show of good faith to our teachers that we understand that we're asking you to do some things before school that you haven't had to do in the past. And
So how does this work with like our high school? Because essentially the kids are already coming late because of the flex time.
right, you know, in our high school and in our junior highs, our teachers are doing all three modes. They're doing in-person, hybrid, and online. So this is a good faith to them saying, we recognize you're putting in extra time and we're compensating you this way for it. So it does look a little bit different, but those are great valid questions.
I would propose that the board maybe have a discussion about 2020-21 calendar. And just see if anyone has any concerns about this document.
So,
Discussion.
yeah, what kind of discussion do you want?
Just a discussion with us or approve it?
Well, if no one wants a discussion, let's go ahead and approve it.
Does anybody have any questions on it? Any other
I think my
questions?
questions have been answered.
Okay, so, well, do you have any additional questions?
No.
So then I will take a motion to suspend, do we have to suspend the rules again?
We do, because this is a calendar, which would be.
To suspend the rules to approve the proposed calendar changes.
I'll move that we suspend the rules to approve the calendar changes.
Okay, and the second?
I second.
And any discussion, questions? Okay, so all in favor of suspending the rules? Any opposed? Okay, then I will take a motion to approve the proposed calendar changes for the 2021 school year.
I move the 2021 school year calendar changes as outlined.
Okay, and a second? Second. And any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? All right.
Great, thank you. We will get that out tomorrow in tomorrow's educator update, and I know that they will be extremely grateful. I also think an added bonus is because we're getting out prior to Memorial Day, that will actually give our custodians quite a bit more time to get some things done in the building, so that'll be nice. So thank you, we appreciate that.
Just out of curiosity, because if that needs us, what would graduation day be then?
I believe graduation day will be the May 28th, because we usually do it on the last day of school. So I will contact high school tomorrow and let them know we need to look at that. We currently are still looking at doing it at Salt Lake Community College. However, we have been informed because their fall sports have been pushed back to spring. There may be some scheduling issues there, and we're prepared to pivot and do it at a different location should we need to, because we've learned we can do that, so.
Just a thought on that. I heard that, it was, I think it's Lake Christian Academy has been using a bigger venue for football so that they could have more people spread out. That would be a thought, that we could use another school that has big, we always worry about the weather for an outdoor graduation, but I just thought that was a really creative way of, because they have little tiny facilities that they were able to have more people living. Maybe a graduation at a bigger field earlier, but we've always thought it'd be great to have it on the field, but weather, you never know.
Right. We can certainly look at whatever, we're happy to entertain any of
Getting
that.
really good at looking at options.
Getting really good at what?
Looking at options.
We are getting good at looking at options, so we are good at options, so, great, thank you.
Right, Superintendent, did you need a closed session?
Yes, so I would like to ask for consideration to have a closed session to discuss personnel and property. It should be very short.
Okay, I'll pull the board chair.
Yes.
Well, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Linda.
Yes.
All right, we will go into closed session.
Great, and I will have Assistant Superintendent Bushnell and Director Dean stay for that conversation. Thanks, Robin, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have. She did.
Still recording.
And then everything on the next set.
Sorry, give me just 1 second.
On Monday,